Hi, this is Mark, an American in Russia. If you're new to the channel, I'm an American who's lived in provincial areas of Russia for more than 21 years. I live in the small city of Tambov now, which is located about 250 miles from Moscow and about 250 miles from Ukraine. Now, I do rather poorly in the YouTube algorithms because my channel isn't about bad things about Russia, or I'm not pushing a political agenda. And YouTube, well, they aren't into any favorable comments about Russia, so my channel won't really appear as a recommendation. So why not subscribe? Subscribe and click the bell, then you'll get notified when I post a video. Well, I retired and we had a house built here in Tambov about 4 years ago. We'd been living in a much larger city at the edge of Siberia before that. Well, we were busy with our house being built. Then COVID hit, followed by the current military operation. This meant that we hadn't been to the States in 5 years, which also means I haven't seen my family there for 5 years. Well, by the time that this video posts on YouTube, I'll have already left Russia and I'll be on my way to the US. I guess I've become a bit Russian in some terms, like my superstitions, such as not talking about intended plans before actually doing them. So I've programmed this video to be released at a time after I've already left Russian soil. Now, the current situation makes the trip to the States into something quite a bit more complicated than it used to be. For example, it used to be I could travel from here to Moscow by train in about 7 hours or fly in 1 hour. Then from Moscow, I could fly directly to New York, take about 9 hours. And there were even direct flights all the way to Los Angeles and to other American cities, all from Moscow. It was really, really convenient traveling. But now, due to sanctions, there are few flights to other countries. So I'll travel from Moscow this time, a very circuitous route. I'll fly from Moscow to Istanbul. From Istanbul, I'll fly to Frankfurt, Germany. From Frankfurt, Germany, to New York City, and then in my particular case, I'll fly from New York City to Orlando, Florida, that's where I'm going to start my family visiting. So what used to be about a 9-hour trip will now take me about 45 hours with layovers. That's a tough trip. Of course, I'm not permanently leaving Russia, as I'll be back here in mid-March. This trip I'll be traveling alone, as my daughters are in their final year of high school and can't take the time off now. And of course my wife will be here with them. So it'll just be me this time. This coming summer would also be out of the question because here students who finish high school and are going to the university, they only can submit their applications to universities after they've already graduated high school. So it's a very busy, very busy summer applying to universities, hopefully getting accepted and doing everything that goes along with that. So this summer will be out of the question. I'm retired, and that's why I just chose to go now. It's not beautiful weather there, although Florida would be nice. Yeah. I'm often asked by other Americans, why don't you leave Russia and return to the US? In fact, over the past year, I've been besieged with letters from the US State Department, as have all other Americans here, warning us that we need to leave Russia as quickly as possible. I have received 3 letters in the past week alone to this effect. The reasons given as to why I should leave really don't apply to my situation, though. Besides, unless I or my family are really in imminent danger for our lives, our home is here. Our friends and some family are here. I love the U.S. and left for Russia in order to be with my wife. That was my reason for coming here. However, over the 21 years I've been here, we've raised a family, found plenty of good friends, and now this is where I call home. For about my first 10 years here, when I would visit the US, I thought of it as returning home. After that, though, I found when I left the US to return to Russia that I was now returning home in my mind. Now, mind you, the United States was a very different country when I left 21 years ago, as the world was a different world. Well, that's enough of all that stuff. Due to winter here, I've found that I'm doing very little shooting of videos. While in the States, I'll be much better about it and document parts of my trip. Now, I understand that if you subscribe to my channel, American in Russia, that suddenly having American in Russia visits the USA may seem a bit odd, but I'll do my best to make it interesting. A good friend of mine in this part of the world is a British expat who lives in Almaty, Kazakhstan. We've been friends for about 8 years now. In fact, I went with my family to Almaty last summer, and we spent some time, a few days here and there with him. Now, as it turns out, he's currently in Miami, Florida. So he and I will meet up near Orlando, and I think we'll get into a few adventures. It'll seem so out of context, though, being in the US doing this. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'll shortly be back to making more videos, which are not just talking head videos. As you may have noticed, I've tried to spice up my video surroundings a bit and been working more on my filming techniques. It's better than just having to stare at me the whole time in a fixed pose. I'm even shooting with 2 cameras. There's camera number 2. Please tell me in the comments if you've noticed these changes, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Well, till next time, Пока.